right now as well. So, it'll be interesting. But like I said, this seems to be shaping up like a 1968 all over again, and that could be good, for the Conservative Party. And also, it might also encourage those that have been sitting on the sidelines and thinking maybe they should not participate in this democratic republic. But look, it's about the consent of the governed, and you give your consent by going to the ballot box and casting your vote. So that's most important. Jenny Beth Martin from Tea Party Patriots Action also here to comment on Vice President Harris's selecting Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. A decision says it has nothing to change the fundamentals of the race. It's still about policies, and the policies are right square in your face. And of course, those policies will also have an effect on what's happening in immigration. And Eric Rourke from Numbers USA, the Director of Research and Public Relations, is here to tell us all about it. Hey, Bill Martinez here. Do you have a minute to talk about your financial future? I'm feeling like you are. For most of us, our economy is in trouble. So is there a solution? Good question. I have a good answer for you. Check out my friends at Genesis Gold Group. They can help you secure your financial future in these unstable times. Gold and silver are precious metals that investors have counted on for hundreds of years. All investors agree that gold should be a part of their financial portfolios. This is why I recommend that you run, not walk, to the Genesis Gold Group. In fact, you don't have to run or walk. A free informative consultation is just a toll-free call away. And you can see for yourself why investing in gold and silver can make sense in securing your financial future. So call them 844-202-4252. That's 844-202-4252, or check out the website goldwithbill.com.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Bill Martinez Live, a program about current events, our culture, our values, our politics, and our future. And now, Bill Martinez.
We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on.
6 minutes after the top of the hour. Good to have you with us. I'm Bill Martinez, and Mike Hill, as promised, is with us. Mike is the former Florida state legislator, former Air Force captain, Air Force Academy grad, and proponent of election integrity. Michael, always good to have you with us. How are you, sir?
Bill, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, eager to have you here to get your read on Kamala Harris's pick. They try to, again, just as they've been trying to do with Kamala Harris, try to repackage and rebrand these two individuals as some sort of moderate. I guess they may consider that they got away with it with Joe Biden. Why can't they get away with it with Kamala Harris or Governor Walz?
Well, I think they're going to try, Bill. The media, of course, is going to be on the Democrat side, but it is impossible to hide the disaster that Governor Walz has made with the state of Minnesota. You can't hide it. I mean, he had a video of himself switching the great flag of Minnesota out for a flag that looked very similar to the Somali national flag.
Right.
I mean, exactly. You can't hide from it. Not at all. And this is what I think. I was trying to say, why on earth did she pick this guy? And this is the conclusion I came to, Bill. I could be wrong, but this was mine. There were many who were being considered to be her vice president, but they turned it down. Why? Because they want to have a political future.
Right.
They want to do something else beyond this, what is going to be a failed presidential race. Kamala Harris is not going to win this race. Cheating aside, you can't put anything past the Democrats, but cheating aside, there's no way she could win this race. So anyone who became her vice president and then lost in November, their political career is essentially over.
Exactly.
And so they had to pick someone who was already at the end of the line. Bill Walz fit that description.
Right.
Gavin Newsom, of course, everyone knows his aspirations to do something else. So he wasn't going to accept it. There was no Democrat senator who was going to accept it because they wanted to have a political future. So they had to come up with this guy who, as I say, he's at the end of his political career anyway.
Right. Exactly. I think you bring some excellent points here. Governor Shapiro wanted to know what's in it for him. Okay, if I'm going to be your second banana, how much power, how much authority are you going to give me? Well, that didn't rank very positively with the vice president, who is a bit of an egomaniac herself. And there's just not enough room in the room to carry, egos of that dimension. So he kind of disqualified himself, not to mention the fact that, Harris has made it quite clear her knee is already bent, to the left wing, to the, to the Palestinians. And so she can't handle Shapiro as a Jew. And I think it would be too much for her to bear in that regard. But I think you're exactly right with Waltz. But Waltz comes with a lot of baggage here, Mike. People think, oh, here's this nice guy who's a coach. He fed people, fed the kids, gave them lunches and things like that, which was kind of interesting how he manipulated that. But nonetheless, hey, he did. But here's a guy also involved in the military, and this is, for you and I being two military types, when anybody walks away, in a sense, becomes AWOL, I'll tell you, you can't have much respect for somebody who's in the military and abandons their post.
Absolutely. When he had received the promotion to E8 in the Minnesota National Guard, but as soon as his unit received orders to go to Iraq, he quit.
Yes.
He just walked away. He said, well, I'm retiring, and just quit. So that's a coward, is what you're looking at there. He would not step up to his duty, to his oath of office, the same way he is not stepping up to his oath of office as being governor. And that's like Kamala Harris. You mentioned she and Shapiro. When you combine ego with incompetence, that's a dangerous solution. And that's what you have there. Everyone knows that Kamala Harris does not have the capacity, does not have the cognitive ability to be president of the United States. Everybody knows that. It's been on full display this entire time.
Right.
So why did the Democrats put her up there in the first place? It's because they have already demonstrated that they can have someone in office, Joe Biden, who does not have the cognitive ability to do day-to-day tasks, much less run this nation, because it is being run instead by a cabal that's in the background, made up of individuals like Obama, people from his administration, Susan
Valerie
Rice,
Jarrett and the rest of them. Yep, exactly.
yeah, all of them.
Yeah,
and so they've demonstrated that all they need is a figurehead. We can run things in the background. That's why they pushed Kamala Harris forward without a single vote being taken to put her in that position.
Yeah. This is the party that is protecting democracy, right, Michael? By undermining the whole process. It is unbelievable. The thing is, though, I think that Kamala Harris could be that snake that turns around and bites them. Because though on the surface, in order to get what she wants, she may go along, to get along. But I think that, she is going to want to impose herself in a way that could be a burden, to this cabal that you're talking about.
Well, you notice that she has not held a press conference since she's been declared a presidential nominee. She has not got on a podium with a gaggle of reporters in front of her. Most of them will be friendly anyway, throwing her softballs. Right. And she has not done that. Why? Because her handlers won't let her. They know it is going to be a disaster. They're going to try and run a campaign much like they did with Biden, where he stayed in his basement most of the time when he ran in 2020. They're going to try that same technique here, where they are going to keep her out of sight as much as possible, and then just spring her on at the end. It's not going to work, And Bill, you alluded to the similarities to this and 1968. Back then we had a president, Lyndon Johnson, who basically said, I'm not going to run for president. I'm not going to accept the nomination. and that thrust Hubert Humphrey up front.
Right.
And then we had a former vice president, Richard Nixon, who is now the Republican nominee, who is now running. So it was two former vice presidents running for president like we have now. And what we had back then were the radicals on the left, Hubert Humphrey and his running mate, Ed Muskie, was his running mate. And then we had Nixon and Spiro Agnew on the other side. And it was a resounding defeat for the Democrats. They went into their convention in Chicago, like they're going to have their convention in Chicago now.
Right.
And Daley, the mayor of Chicago, because they were leftists protesting the Vietnam War, sent the police out there and busted heads.
Exactly. Hey, we've got to go to quick break. We'll pick it up on the other side. More from Mike Hill after this. Stay with us.
Hi, everyone. Michael Horn for GetTheTea.com. Summer heat getting to you? Go to GetTheTea.com and take advantage of their first ever semi-annual sale on all of their herbal cleansing teas. Buy two, get 1 month absolutely free. Get the Tea is available in natural, peppermint, pomegranate, and senna, the added strength cleansing tea. Go to GetTheTea.com. Enter the code MikeT and receive free shipping too. GetTheTea.com is a family-based and owned company that has been in business over 15 years. They also carry unique supplements that you won't find in stores for your immune system, your glucose levels, and vitamins too. GetTheTea.com. It's one of the best sales of the year, so don't wait. Buy two, get one free. Go to GetTheTea, T-E-A, GetTheTea.com. Enter the code MikeT for free shipping. GetTheTea.com. Mike T is your code. Go to GetTheTea.com.
How would you like to save money on nearly all your prescription drugs? We've set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581. How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-536-4436. That's 800-536-4436. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-536-4436.
Hey, glad you could join us. We're fresh and independent every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 Eastern, 6 to 8 Pacific. I am Bill Martinez. Mike Hill continues with us, the former Florida state legislator, former Air Force captain, Air Force Academy grad, and proponent of election integrity. Mike, I wanted you to finish up what you were saying. We got cut off because we had to go to break here. But clearly what it's shaping up to be, just like in 68, is there's no gray area about this. This is really a binary choice that is clear cut. And the American voter, I believe this time around, it's going to take a lot more cheating and a lot more deception to fool them.
Oh, absolutely, Bill. The point I was making is the similarities, as you brought up at the beginning of the show, between the election in 1968 and what we're experiencing now. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing is a radical left agenda. They're trying with Kamala Harris and this Governor Walz, who they're trying to position themselves as moderates, but they are not. On any position that you take or any topic that you take, they have a very radical leftist position when it comes to abortion. They want abortion up into the point of birth.
My understanding, Mike, I don't know if you saw this or not. My understanding in Minnesota, there were 5 post babies that were delivered, post-abortion, and I think 2 they offered comfort care until they passed. The others passed. So Democrats say, well, we're up to accepting abortion up to the point of delivery. Virginia made an announcement here several years ago, if you recall, saying that the governor there said, "Oh, we'll just in this case," and I think he was a doctor, if I remember correctly. He said, "We'll just give them post delivery comfort care," like as if they're non-entities. And this is part of the legacy, and this is part of what we're getting with Governor Walz here. So go ahead.
That's right. It's infanticide, Bill, pure and simple. It's murdering a baby. We call it abortion to try and give it a good name. And they're trying to restructure it now by calling it reproductive care. It's murdering a baby, if we're just pure and simple. They're on the radical side of that. There's the illegal immigration. They're all for it. This Governor Walz says, I'll help build ladders. I'll go into the ladder business to get over the wall. Right. And here's the failed border wall czar, Kamala Harris. You can't run away from that. Our economy is in a disaster right now. And it's because of the Biden-Harris economic policies that they have gone towards. And Bill Walz will simply continue with that. The Minnesota economy is in shambles right now, just like California's. So we have, just like in 1968, radicals on the left, and then we have those on the right who love our country, who love our nation. We have a President Trump and his running mate that he has picked. The 2 of them have demonstrated their love for this nation, wanting to put America first. So in 1968, it was a huge political loss for the left. Even though the popular vote had it somewhat close, the Electoral College, the left lost by over 110 votes. I think it's going to be even greater than that this time when President Trump is going to win this election against Kamala Harris.
Well, if the people really want change, there has to be a demonstrative mandate, to your point here, Mike. It needs to be clear, whether it's through the Electoral College or, maybe a combination of the popular vote. It still amazes me because when I see some of the polling that's taking place, I don't see how 40% of the country in the shared misery that we're all in here, uh, as a result of Bidenomics, inflation, the policies and make no doubt, the policies of Joe Biden, an extension of Barack Obama, but connected clearly to Vice President Harris. All Harris wants to talk about is, we hate Trump and we need to beat Trump. There's no casting a vision about why things would be so much greater under her administration versus a Trump administration. Are you hearing anything, or am I missing something?
No, and Bill, you'll recognize that when Kamala Harris accepted the Democrat nomination in her mini press conference there, she only cited things that she did as Attorney General of California.
Right.
She didn't mention anything that she did as a senator. She didn't mention anything that she did as vice president, because she had, and even then, her when she was Attorney General of California, that was an utter disaster. She's trying to distance herself from this failed 4 years, well, 3.5 years with Joe Biden, but she can't do it. And I think the Democrat Party is already counting on, let's look at the election 4 years from now. I think they're going to see this election to Trump. They're going to cheat. I mean, that's just in their mode of operation. They're going to,
Yeah,
but I don't think there's
already
going to
done.
be.
They even did it. They even did it in the primaries.
That's right.
And so they've exposed themselves. I was explaining to the audience because a lot of people don't understand the ballot harvesting and that how illegal immigrants are being duped into this. And the fact of the matter is in which Walsh did. Is that he gave driver's license to illegal immigrants. Well, if you get a driver's license, you're automatically registered to vote, so you get a ballot. Well, guess who has all those addresses? The Democratic apparatchik has done this. They have brought this to a science, and they're very effective in collecting these ballots. So they know where these ballots go. They go to where the illegals are. They knock on the door and say, "Hey, we notice you got a ballot here, but I'm not supposed to vote. Don't worry, we'll take that ballot from you." And either they will somehow cajole them out of that ballot, or they'll even pay for it. But they get that ballot and they collect these ballots, and then they fill them out. This is one of the effective ways of how they stuff the ballot box. And of course, in some sort of unfair sort of way, illegal immigrants they're complicit secondarily, but primarily it's the Democratic apparatchik, these thieves who are stealing our elections. Right, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. The illegals, they're here and they're going to do just what they're told. They're just glad to be here because we can see that they're given free housing, free food, right, free medical care, free education.
With strings attached.
They did not get that in the country that they were coming from.
Right.
And so they're going to do what they're told.
Right.
And so the cheating has already started. The fact that they gave the money that was part of Biden's campaign, that they gave the money to the Kamala Harris campaign, which is illegal.
Right.
The chairman of the Federal Elections Commission says you can't do that. They did it anyway, Bill.
Right.
They ignore the law. What the left has already determined, what they have demonstrated, is that they do not want the peaceful transfer of power. Mm-hmm. And whatever means it takes to stop that from happening, to remain in power, they will do, because the end justifies the means.
Right. So whether it's this or whether it's tuition, the Supreme Court already weighed in, said you can't do it. Joe Biden says, forget it, I'm still doing it. I'm going to still, support people at these tuition costs, and we're going to forgive their debt. Right. So, and supposedly they're concerned about crime, only as it serves their particular political purpose. Right.
That's right. And so, Bill, we're coming up in a situation where for the next, 84 days, there's going to be a decision that the American people have to make as to who they want to run this nation. And I think that American citizens are going to want to choose the Republican Party, President Trump. That is who they are going to want to vote for. We're going to see that. And the Democrats, I think, recognize that. Bill, you mentioned earlier, they're showing polls of 40%
Yeah, we got 30 seconds left. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you wrap it up.
Yeah, we got a poll showing 40% of Democrats who are supporting Kamala Harris and Governor Walz. Now, who are these people?
Exactly.
In the South, Bill, we call them yellow dog Democrats. If there was a yellow dog running for office, that's who they would vote for.
There it is. Mike Hill, former Florida state legislator and former Air Force captain. Thank you, Mike. Take care.
Thank you, Bill.
Report is sponsored by IBM. As generative AI revolutionizes work, organizations face a critical challenge retraining and reskilling their workforce to fill key technology roles. A new study from the IBM Institute for Business Value reveals half of CEOs are hiring for generative AI-related roles that didn't exist last year. Yet more than half are struggling to fill key technology roles. The skill gap is expected to widen as 35% of the workforce will require retraining and reskilling over the next 3 years, up from just 6% in 2021. Jill Goldstein, Global Managing Partner, HR and Talent Transformation, IBM Consulting.
CHROs can help unlock their organization's full potential by championing retraining and reskilling initiatives that increase the technical acumen of their workforce. This will empower employees to realize the benefits of AI today and position them with skills for jobs of the future.
To learn more, visit ibm.com/IBV.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-932-1597. 800-932-1597. That's 800-932-1597. Paid for by the Tax Helpline. If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-796-3954. 800-796-3954. That's 800-796-3954.
Now, I got to tell you, I had a mentor who once said that sometimes you have to be thankful for your competitors. And I think what happened yesterday with Kamala Harris picking Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and we the people can be grateful for our competition with that choice. Jenny Beth Martin is with us. She's the president of the Tea Party Patriots Action. Jenny Beth, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
It's so great to be with you. Thank you so much for having me, Bill.
So here it is. I mean, this was a gift of all the people they could have picked. Governor Walz, I mean, talk about doubling down. In some cases, some people would say stupid, but it's really anti-American. The Palestinian wing of the Democratic Party is in control of the party. And I think this opens the door for something that you and I have been dreaming about, and that is a resounding mandate that will send Donald Trump with a lot of force into the Beltway to really turn the tables upside down, which is going to be necessary in order to get this country back on track, in my humble opinion, Jenny Beth.
Well, I think it does open the doors for President Trump to become reelected. It isn't just that it is a pro-Palestinian choice. It's pro-socialism, pro-Marxism, pro-globalization, just it is for the radical leftist agenda, whether it is thinking that transgender surgeries for children are okay, putting menstrual products in boys' bathrooms in high schools. I mean, it's just some of his policies are gross and disgusting. Then he's soft, not even soft on immigration. He is for lawlessness when it comes to the border. He made his state a sanctuary city. The states, or a sanctuary state, the states and cities that make themselves sanctuary for illegal immigrants wind up creating a magnet at the border that draws more and more illegal immigrants into our country and has devastating effects and ripple effects across the entire country. He has helped create the problem that exists right now. He hasn't called for securing the border. His economic policies are socialist. He is in favor of government control rather than the free markets. When it came to lockdowns and COVID, he was extreme on that. He was for government control, for lockdowns, rather than letting the virus work itself out and for each of us to have our own personal relationship with our doctor to determine what is right for us and our families. He's a disastrous pick, but it just shows that Kamala Harris is a radical leftist and she surrounds herself with radical leftists. And if she is elected to become president, she will make America a radical leftist country, and that will harm every American.
Well, you know, the thing is about having such a fixed ideology, which is what they do, it blinds them to the reality of what's happening. I mean, Governor Walz made the statement out of ego and just being a smart aleck about Trump, commenting that, if Trump builds a wall that's 25 feet, he's going to make ladders that are 30 feet to help people break the law. I mean, wait a minute. This is an American citizen. This is an elected official, a governor of a state making that kind of statement. See, this kind of ideology in politics is what is incensing the body politic, if I might say, Jenny Beth, because the American people are fed up with all this partisanship. And this is the kind of silliness that's taken place. It's like even with the campaign of Kamala Harris, if she leads all the time with, we're going to beat Trump, we're going to beat Trump. Well, what about your policies? What do you have to offer the American people that convinces us that a Harris presidency is going to be the relief that we have longed for?
I think that you're right about that, Bill. The country, you were just talking about this with your previous guest, or 40% of people, maybe even 45% of people on the left who are going to vote Democrat no matter what. I think the same thing happens on the right. They're going to vote Republican no matter what. So there is this middle of the country who kind of shifts back and forth from election to election, and maybe they don't always vote just the straight party ticket. Those are the people we have to be talking to right now. If they are angry about President Trump and they just want to beat President Trump, you tried that 4 years ago. Do you really think that served you and your family and your households better? Do you think that just voting against Trump because you hate Trump so much really benefited you? Are you better off? The cost of groceries cost more, the cost of gas, school supplies, vacations, everything costs more. The economy is in trouble right now. We had stock market issues this past week. We may have more unsteadiness in the economy. Inflation has taken away any pay increases that Americans have had over the last several years. Is that better for you and your family, for your children, for your grandchildren? You've got to set aside your hatred for a person because of mean tweets or whatever else you think you don't like about them, and look at what's best for you and your family and for the country. And I can tell you right now, Kamala Harris's policies will be an extension of what we saw in the last 4 years under President Biden. And I think it will be even more radical and more harmful to your own personal household.
Look at Jenny Beth, look at the people who have really have been praising Bidenomics. They think this is the best thing that's ever happened. It's not the middle class, and it is the uber wealthy that are celebrating the Biden administration. They have made a ton of flipping money. There probably have been more billionaires created under this administration because of the way the government has been run, the way that the Biden administration has opened up the treasury of we the people and put more pressure upon us and the call for taxes. This is why Kamala Harris wants corporate tax to go up to what, 36%. I mean, this will make it so much more difficult. We're back to reliving what Obama did in manufacturing and how he killed business in America and chased business away. We need to energize the machinery and the engineering and the engine of the America economy. And what kind of solutions that Harris and Walz are offering in their socialistic understanding is detrimental. It'll just be more of the same. I mean, it will be the definition of an insanity, as we know, right?
It will be the definition of insanity. It will shrink the economic pie. And what I mean by that is the economy will be smaller rather than bigger. When the economy is bigger, you may have the same percentage slice of the pie, but you wind up having much more to eat because it is a bigger pie. Right. And that's what happens when you grow the economy. That's what President Trump was able to do. He's grown businesses, he's built businesses, and you contrast that with Kamala Harris or Walz, and what you see are two people who have worked for the government their entire lives rather than building something and having to make payroll and employ people and grow businesses. And I think part of the reason that middle America and even the lower class Americans, so people who maybe haven't moved up in the economic ladder yet, like President Trump, is because he gives them the hope and the opportunity that they can go make their own future for themselves.
Well, and he's demonstrated that he's done it before. Because you want to know what he's going to do? Look at what he's done. He's done it before, Jenny Beth. So it's not some, kind of Barack Obama hope and change kind of concept that is given to you in a very, charming, sort of way. I mean, when Donald Trump talks, there is substance, there is practical application and experience behind the words that he speaks, right?
That is exactly right. He understands the economy, he understands markets, he understands how to make money, he understands how to leverage money. And I want less government spending and less borrowing. But if we grow and if we grow that economic pie, then we've got more money coming into the economy. So hopefully we can pay down some of the debt. The Kamala Harris administration, if she is elected, will be more of the same. It will saddle us with even more debt. It will be harmful to our country. And it will be failed policies that have been, every time socialism is tried anywhere in the world, it doesn't work. We don't need more socialism in America. We need more freedom in America. And we're not going to get that with Kamala Harris and Walz.
Yeah, Kamala Harris's idea of freedom is all that she could express when she was 3 years old, if you remember. Jenny Beth Martin, thank you. Appreciate the time. Take care.
Stomach issues again? Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers through CPR education and access to AEDs. Nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning-fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-745-9090. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-745-9090. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-745-9090.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Hey, welcome back. Bill Martinez here, 14 minutes before the top of the hour. Well, we know Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor and former Congressman Tim Walz as her vice presidential running mate on the 2024 presidential ticket. Governor Walz, according to Numbers USA, has a career D grade when it comes to immigration. With us to tell us more about it is the Director of Research and Public Relations with Numbers USA, Eric Rourke. Eric, welcome back. Good to have you with us. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you. He's not a friend of us. I'm talking about Governor Walz, not a friend of us who want to have legal immigration and a process in where immigrants can come into our country, not feel like they have to live under the shadows or be beholden to the cartels.
That's right. And most people out there, most Americans probably don't know or hadn't heard of Governor Walz before. He's not a big name in the political field. And a lot of attention was being paid to the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, who was overlooked, or they chose Walz for whatever reason. And I think part of it was what we're seeing is, he's a populist, and he's, sort of appeals to blue collar workers and the average American. And, that may be true initially, or maybe it will continue to be true, but he does have a political record. He was the governor of Minnesota. Right. He instituted many sanctuary policies, in-state tuition, not enforcing federal immigration law, not cooperating with the federal authorities, also signing a bill into law that gave illegal aliens driver's license in Minnesota. Exactly. He also was in Congress, and he has a grade from us, as you mentioned, a D. That's his career grade. But if you look over time, we see he got progressively worse, and his final Congress That was 2018, 2019, the 115th Congress. He had an F minus. So he's right there with Kamala
Yeah.
when it comes to voting. And he voted 16 times. This is why he got so bad on his grade eventually, is he voted 16 times for amnesty. So he did have some mainstream, if you will, positions. But what we're seeing now is, and unfortunately, that's the position of the Democratic leadership. He's following along, open borders, no enforcement, and taking the position that anyone around the world who wants to come to the United States somehow has that right, not under U.S. law, but they sort of, what we're seeing is them ignoring the law, and somehow
Right.
there's this human right that grants everyone access to the United States, no matter who they are or why they want to come here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Their definition, a very loose one when it comes to rights, right? I mean, it's like, wait a minute. It's not there in the Constitution. Whether we're talking about, uh, the big thing for the Democrats is, immigration, but certainly also reproductive rights. Well, wait a minute. Where does that say in the Constitution that you have reproductive rights? I mean, reproductive rights are designed and come to you by God, not by Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, by no means. So basically, they're using kind of a word salad to confuse people, to really, because they're not honest enough to say, well, what we want is, we want the right to kill our baby in the womb, and for you to pay for it.
And abortion is a contentious issue, and public opinion certainly is split on that. And I think that's going to be something the Democrats are going to run on, particularly in the having Roe v.
No
Wade
doubt.
first with the Dobbs decision. But immigration is much more straightforward. Public opinion, yes, most Americans want a secure border overwhelmingly. But when we're talking about the laws, the abortion laws are going to play out at the state level, as we've seen.
And as they should.
Yeah. And
Right.
immigration, which is set at the federal level, it's not ambiguous about who should get in, and limits on who should get in. And the Biden administration is simply ignoring the law on one hand, but on the other hand, it has claimed that it has the right to create, in their words, new legal pathways. And that's the problem we see when we see executives setting policy. We have Trump, who came in and put things in place, which the law did allow for. He won those battles in court. Biden has not won much in court because he's violating the law, immigration laws, at least. And that's the importance of having a Congress that's going to step in. The president doesn't need more authority to stop illegal immigration, but what Congress needs to do is rein in the abuses of the executive branch when it comes to parole, asylum, giving work permits, to inadmissible aliens. That's when Congress has to step in, use the power of the purse, but also hold cabinet officials accountable. They did impeach, the House did impeach Secretary Mayorkas, but they also funded his policies for which they impeach him, and that was really a gut punch.
Yeah. Well, you see, this is the deal, and I was just going to say that, Eric, as you bring up, they often say, well, Congress has the power of the purse. Well, when have they exercised it? I mean, it's like they have it, and they're like a barking dog with no teeth. I mean, at some point, you got to figure out, where do you fall on the sword? And I think that when it came to immigration, they lost that opportunity where they could have fallen on their sword. And I think that, most of America would have supported that, because, the whole storyline of immigration, you and I have discussed this to no end here, and we will continue to do this, because people fail to realize that these are human beings that are coming into our country. Yes, they're illegal, but think of the ramifications that are involved with their illegal entry. They're beholden to the cartels. We now have a cartel infrastructure that has invaded every state of the union. They're no longer just south of the border. They are here amongst us, with a thriving enterprise that just in sex trafficking alone last year, Eric, generated them something like $13 billion of profits. You think they're going to give that up easy? I don't think so.
No, and you make this point a lot, and it's something that needs to be emphasized and reemphasized, is the argument that the Harris campaign makes is that they are the humanitarians here, and that if Trump were to come in, or someone who wants to enforce the law, that's anti-immigrant. And that's not the case, because the cartels do control the southern border. We've seen exponential rise in smuggling, including child trafficking, child labor within the United States. But even if you're, a male adult who's trying to come here. It's very dangerous. And you're going to not only because you're going to be exposed to cartels and to people who might rob you or beat you up, assault you. It's just simply walking from Central America or South America in some cases all the way to the Mexican border. There's lots of dangerous things you may encounter. You're jumping on the trains, you're going through jungles. And we can have a debate, and we should have a debate about what the level of legal immigration should be, but we can't get to that point where we have a serious debate if we don't enforce the laws, and if we keep sending the message that we prefer you to come legally, but if you show up illegally, there's almost a certitude that you're going to get released into the United States, and oftentimes with a work permit and receive benefits from the federal government.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's the old axiom, you reward the wrong behavior, you get more of the wrong behavior. I mean, it's that practical, and this is what we're getting. We're getting exactly the very thing that we're promoting, but yet we verbally say, "Oh, we're interested in legal immigration." Oh, are we? I don't think so. I think that there's an agenda that's behind all this. That somehow, in your own psychology, in your own doctrine, you believe that your means justifies the end of what you have in your own mind in terms of immigration. And meanwhile, I mean, forget about crime, forget about the complications and the inferences that occur, because you can't just say, okay, what's a little bit of crime and it's not going to affect everything else. A little bit of crime infects everything in some form or fashion, doesn't it?
It does. And when we combine it, look at San Francisco or New York, there's also an example, Chicago, where you have policies in place where people who are citizens of the United States who commit crimes are being released back onto the street. Sometimes serious crimes, they're back out within a couple of hours to commit more crimes. So then you add people who are breaking the law to get in the United States, which does include people who are individuals who are members of criminal gangs. And most people who are coming here illegally aren't coming here to engage in criminal activity beyond illegal entry. But because the border is wide open, we are allowing many, many dangerous individuals to come in who are preying on citizens and immigrants themselves. They're usually the first victim because they're in those communities and they're being preyed on first by the criminal aliens that were being released into the United States.
And this is why we're hearing their voices out loud, and why they're not choosing the Democratic Party, because it's very simple. It's not complex as far as they're concerned. They see who's promoting this illegal activity, and these people are coming in. I mean, here they are. They've worked hard to attain a certain level and provide for their families. And then all of a sudden, the rug is pulled out from underneath them, and you have all these illegal immigrants who come in and swallow up the jobs they worked hard for. So it's like 2 steps forward, 3 back. Thank you very much, Joe Biden.
And that's an important point, because for many years, the argument that Democrats made, and certainly we had to counter that because Republicans bought into it as well, that if you want Hispanic votes, you need to open the border, not illegally, but just massive legal admissions a year. And we were countering that by pointing out that if you ask Hispanic voters if they want more immigration, most of them say no, and certainly they support securing the border. And that's the thing, is they're voting like any other working class group. They want secure jobs, well-paying jobs, and the rule of law, because an economy can't function if the rule of law isn't in place. And that's an important part of it too. Immigration does raise the GDP, but you have to look at where do those gain, who benefits from that? It's the employers and immigrants themselves. But immigrants themselves don't want massive waves of new immigrants coming in because they're going to compete for those same jobs. So, it's a no-brainer. But we're also talking about politicians in D.C. And so for them, I guess for them, the motivation is their donors are telling them something very different, and they're listening to their donors and not to the voters.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this is the thing, and I believe that Donald Trump is having and demonstrating more compassion to these Hispanic communities, and that's why they're responding the way they are, just in my humble opinion. Eric Rourke, the Director of Research and Public Relations with Numbers USA. Thank you, Eric. Have a great day.
Thanks. Oh, it's great.
Founded in 2004, BBS Radio TV stands as a trailblazer in remotely engineered
Bill,
live
I will
radio
see you later.
broadcasts over the internet. We ignited the new media revolution, offering a powerful platform for vital voices and alternative perspectives that mainstream media often silences. Our live broadcasts stream on over 200 of the world's largest internet broadcast stations, with on-demand syndication across all major social networks. Visionary entrepreneurs Douglas and Donald Newsom have crafted over 100,000 radio and web TV episodes for more than 1,000 satisfied clients. Experience the pinnacle of web radio and TV engineering. Compare our unbeatable prices, exceptional services, and comprehensive offerings with any other professional provider, and you'll see why we're unparalleled in the industry. Call us at 888-710-8061.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-254-1421. 800-254-1421. 800-254-1421. That's 800-254-1421.
BBS Radio TV. If it's not mainstream, it's on BBS Radio TV. A place for answers.
Well, good morning and good to have you with us. It is the top of the hour and we head into hour number 2 of Bill Martinez Live. And Ann Funder is going to be with us. The name may sound familiar and is familiar from the Republican National Convention. She was a mother who lost a child to fentanyl poisoning, and she is holding Joe Biden, Kamala Harris responsible for her son's death, 15 years old, who died of an accidental fentanyl overdose. And she'll be here to tell her story and to put into perspective what from her viewpoint, what a Kamala Harris presidency would look like. Tucker Perkins is back with us. Tucker is the president and CEO of PERC, the Propane Education Research Council. We're talking about, with the new school year, we're talking about bus safety and, the impact that modernizing the nation's school bus fleet and cleaner options like electric and propane have to offer. And then we're going to wrap up the hour with Tim Head. Kamala Harris's VP pick has been the most left-wing governor of Minnesota's history. And Tim is here to get into it. He's with the Faith and Freedom Coalition. He's the executive director. He cites Walt's hostility towards Christian during his time as governor of Minnesota and the implications of a potential Walt's vice presidency. So those are the 3 main guests that are going to be coming up this hour as we continue to, present to you the truth as best we can. As we say that, look at the rest is up to you. We give you the information. We say that you should own your own knowledge. Don't just take our word for it. But hey, look, I'm open to challenges. From time to time, there's information based on the time that we had, and you've been so kind to correct me. And don't think that it hurts my feelings to be corrected. I love to stand corrected. Only from a standpoint that, yes, we do a lot of hard work and research on your behalf, to kind of get the ball going here so that we can talk about these issues and be all the smarter as a result of it. This is the beauty of our First Amendment right, unlike, what some of the social media platforms in terms of wanting to protect, the safety. I get that in purpose and a general concept of protecting the safety of their community. community. But when do you overprotect the safety of your community by stopping people from hearing things that they need to hear, even though they may not be all that pleasant and they may be a challenge? But that's what strengthens us as a country. Our First Amendment right to be able to talk about these uncomfortable things so that we figure out, okay, what are we doing? I mean, whether it has to do with, the LGBTQ movement, how do we place this within the greater concept of, the American legacy and what this country is all about? And again, you talk about the safety of its citizens. Any of these ideas who come in, as opposed to, oh, just in the name of progressivism and liberalism, that we just allow them in because we're open-minded. As my mentor used to love to say, Bill, sometimes you can be so open-minded that your brains fall out. There needs to be that discussion so that we have those boundaries, that when ideas come in, we need to look and consider, is that idea worthy of consideration? Does it add or take away from the principal mission of this country, the principal mission of this country as an institution, how it serves its people, how it serves our family, and understanding what are the most important aspects and tenets of this institution? Are we honoring those tenets by allowing some of these ideas to come in, or are we just in the name of progressivism and liberalism making ourselves vulnerable to something that's going to erode and knock down those critical elements that are vital to the institution, that are vital to our marriage, that are vital to our family, that are vital to our children? These are the things to be considered. Again, does it add or does it take away? And this is what our First Amendment right allows us to do in the name of free speech, that we can have this discussion and work this out together. Stay with us. Ann Funder is coming up next.
How would you like to save money on nearly all your prescription drugs? We've set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581.
Getting America back on track. Bill Martinez live.
Hey, it's what we do, and thanks for joining in and being part of the solution. Hey, we need you to be a part of the solution if we're going to get this country back on track. And I'd say one of the most critical parts of getting this country back on track is going to be people of faith. People of faith are discerning, and we understand what is true, what is right, what is good, and dare I say, what is evil. And if we're going to have a free and fair election and make a difference in this country, and to be able to put the power back in the hands of we the people where it belongs. That's where our founding fathers had placed it. There was a reason why. Again, speaking of these institutions and these vital components that are so critical to allow these institutions to develop and to be robust and positive, we need to honor these critical pinnacles that establish the value of this institution, that produces the kind of results that we're looking for here, right? So that is absolutely important that be the case. And, we're on standby right now. By the way, I'm trying to connect with Anne, and I think we have her in the waiting room here. She was there just a moment, and we'll try and relocate her and bring her on right now. I know it's early for her. She's on the West Coast, so we got her up early. I will say this as we're getting her connected, that Anne was part of what happened at the Republican National Committee, and that was EDAs, everyday Americans coming on and being a part of the convention and telling their personal stories. And Anne's story was so gripping, and it's an honor to have her with us. And we're still trying to somehow find her and get her connected here. So. I think she's trying to hit some buttons, and we're trying to get her unmuted and all that good stuff. So such is technology here. And as I mentioned to you, her story is so compelling. It involves her son, and well, we have her on audio, and now we have her on video, and I can see her right now. Anne, good morning. Welcome to the show. Good to have you with us. There we go. Okay, I think I've got your picture, but I don't have your microphone. Your microphone went off on me. So okay, here we are, and we're live. And so this is how things happen. And as you may know, we've been trying to get you here on the show to tell your story. You captured the hearts of so many with your story at the Republican National Convention. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Anne, tell us your story about your 15-year-old son.
Well, Weston was our everything. He was a really sweet kid. He had lots of friends. He was a great big brother. He was, he enjoyed the sports. He was always in sports. He was a good student. He was just all around great kid. And he just, when he was 15 years old, he just found some new friends. And I think he, wanted to fit in. And for, all the times that we spoke to him and, armed him with, the knowledge to never do something, at the end of the day, kids have influence, and he tried something and it killed him.
Now, did he try a pill just because it was an experiment, or was it something to, was he thinking he was getting, like a Tylenol or something? So somehow he misunderstood what he was consuming?
He tried what was a Percocet, and I'm not really sure as to, why he would try that, but had he just done a Percocet, he would not have died. He tried what we believe was a quarter of a Percocet that killed him. But fentanyl in a pill, there's no Percocet in it. There's no Xanax in it. There's no Oxycontin in it. There's no whatever that pain pill is. There's none of it is in there. It's just blue pressed powder or white pressed powder for Xanax, with the actual pill print imprint on it, so it looks real, but it's just pressed powder and pure fentanyl, and it's like a chocolate chip cookie. You just never know where the chocolate chips are going to end up, on which side of the pill. Some cookies have more chips than others, and some just got the lethal dose.
Now, did he get that from another young person, I take it, an alleged friend or something? Is that how he came in contact with it?
Yeah, I think all of his friends were doing it. I'm not really allowed to talk about the case so much, so I can't really, talk too much about the logistics of it. But yeah, there were several kids involved in doing.
And Weston was the only one that died?
Yes.
Oh, geez. Wow. And Weston was one of 4 children?
Weston was one of four. Yeah, I have four children. He was my 15-year-old, and then he's got three younger siblings.
Mhm. This just has to be devastating for the younger kids trying to understand
Yeah.
what's going on. And God bless you, Anne, for
Thank you.
dealing with this, because sadly, when we think about I mean, you hear numbers 80 to 100,000 deaths due to fentanyl almost on an annual basis now. It's a
More
regular
than that.
number.
It's more than that.
Okay, but they're saying, okay, so when you say more than that, expand on that a little bit more. What do you say the real number is?
I think this year will be in the hundreds of thousands. We're seeing people come through these groups faster than we've ever seen it. A lot of the groups I'm part of several, but the one main one that I'm part of is Lost Voices of Fentanyl. We're seeing more and more every day. We're seeing things underreported. We're talking to people who report, and they're telling us they're being told to, not report. So there's a lot going on, and that's not just Lost Voices of Fentanyl that I'm saying. That the people that I'm talking to are not with Lost Voices of Fentanyl. I want to separate the two, but I'm meeting people through many different channels that they're not reporting it anymore. Kind of the way they used to report car accidents as COVID. They're doing the opposite. They're, if someone comes in with a fentanyl death, they're trying to say, it was, collapsed lung or, other things. So they're underreporting right now. And so we're thinking it's in the hundreds of thousands this year. Last year it was reported 109,000+. The year before 107 or around 107,000. I mean, hundreds of thousands of parents are waking up to dead children.
Unbelievable.
And it's got to stop, and nothing is being done about it.
Well, and obviously there's some diabolical agenda that's working underground that's, squashing these numbers.
Yeah, it's called the cartels.
Yes.
They're working underground, and for some reason our government is doing nothing, which just would tell me that the cartels and our government are in bed with each other. There's no other reason that you would let a
we got to go to break. We'll talk more about it on the other side. Stay with us. How can we more than survive? This is why, after considering many gold sponsors, we decided to endorse and personally recommend to you the Genesis Gold. Listen for yourself that they're a partner that aligns with our biblical values of prudent stewardship. Investing in gold and silver through a gold IRA isn't just about wealth. It's about securing God's provision for our future. Genesis makes it easy to convert your 401k or IRA into a retirement account backed by physical precious metals like gold and silver. Their team has decades of experience helping folks like us preserve our hard-earned savings. That's why I would only trust Genesis Gold Group to help get you back on the gold standard. Call them today, 844-202-4252, for a free consultation. That's 844-202-4252, or go to the website goldwithbill.com.
This is Don Shank with today's global update from the Tide Ministry, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ worldwide in the languages people were born to speak. Have you ever wanted to spark a conversation about the gospel with your peers, but you didn't know where to start? The Tide Ministry's Have You Heard Challenge urges Christians to ask at least 10 people during the year if they've heard about Jesus and what he did for them. If someone responds that they've not heard, then the believer can share the love of Christ with them. If the person already knows Christ, then they can join the challenge and share the gospel themselves. Participants receive a complimentary t-shirt and resources on how to share the gospel. It's easy to get intimidated when talking about Jesus, but this challenge empowers believers to fulfill Christ's mandate to make disciples in their communities. To learn more about the Tide Have You Heard Challenge and how you can politely engage others in potentially life-changing spiritual conversations, visit thetide.org. That's thetide.org.
Are you looking for a natural health solution to improve your mind and body? Greska's Carbon 60 is an all-natural oral dietary supplement that supports your body's optimal health and performance. Studies show that carbon 60 helps eliminate inflammation, often the root of your health issues. One carbon-rich serving provides your body with a powerful antioxidant to help remove toxins and free radicals. Carbon 60 helps protect your cells from damage and promotes cellular regeneration. Experience the power of Greska's Carbon 60 and say goodbye to pain, inflammation, and fatigue. Call anytime at 720-600-6040, 720-600-6040, or visit c-60.com. That's c-60.com. Greska's Carbon 60. Go to c-60.com.
If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-796-3954. 800-796-3954. That's 800-796-3954.
Hey, welcome back. 19 minutes after the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here, along with Ann Fundner, whose 15-year-old son was poisoned by fentanyl. She told the Republican National Convention that she holds President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris. I would say there's probably a long a line of others that she would hold responsible for the death of her son. And as she is sharing with us right now, the numbers are being downplayed, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of deaths of fentanyl poisoning, that the information is being squashed. And I would say, sadly, and it would appear that the government is complicit in the downplaying and the misinformation on the number of fentanyl deaths. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're such a failure right now that the only way that they could try to stop themselves from looking.
I mean, do you get to the point where you just want to get on top of the building and just scream? I mean, I just felt like, at the RNC, when you told your story, I mean, your heart was so poured out. It was just like you wanted to grab the world or grab America by its shoulders and say, listen to what I am sharing with you. This could happen to you.
Absolutely could. I mean, this was never going to happen in my house. I had armed my children, with the best knowledge to take on the world and all of its, threats around them, to be able to, handle any sort of.
What is your message to the family? Because it would appear in some ways, and is that we're almost playing a game of Russian roulette here. With the fentanyl coming in, our connection, through China and Mexico, this supply chain of this dangerous drug, coming in. In fact, I was just I think I was in California here last week, and there was a seizure, I think in the Inland Empire, a record number of fentanyl pills that they were able to secure.
Well, and there was just one in Arizona as well, at the border, I think the largest. But the Russian roulette is kids trying this. 7 out of 10 pills are deadly. I was explaining the chocolate chip. Depends. Some pills will have more than others. This is not like some chemist is measuring things correctly. These are, probably people who are high as a kite, just sprinkling or throwing what they feel is a good amount of, fentanyl and mixing it and pressing it into pills that are being put into your children's hands. Fentanyl is more more deadly than cyanide per volume. So, we can't get cyanide, thank God.
Right.
But we're literally putting something more poisonous in two salt grains. I mean, think of how small 2 salt grains are.
Right.
Enormously. I mean, they're incredibly.
Well,
and that little tiny bit can
Mhm.
literally take over your body and kill you. I mean, that's incredibly toxic.
Right. I think there was a situation down in San Diego where you had a sheriff who just touched the outside of a bag, and he was subjected, and thank God for some Narcan I think that was available that saved his life. I mean, this is extremely powerful, and it begs the question. This is such a targeted assault. I cannot think that if America was the source of this product and we were shipping it to China, that China would not take this as an attack on its nation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 300 people a day. As I was talking on Newsmax the other day, and he said that's like a jumbo jetliner going down daily, and it is. In 10 days, that will be 3,000 people. That's the same amount of people that died in 9/11, and we went to
9/11.
war for that. And so, all of our recent wars aren't amounting to the amount of people that are dying from fentanyl, and they're doing nothing, zero. And there's only one reason: you have to follow the money. Why
Yes.
aren't they doing anything? There's a corporation being allowed to operate in the United States tax-free, regulation-free, and there's a reason for it. And we what that reason is, because otherwise this needs to stop, and it's not stopping. So tell me why. Tell me
Yes.
why, and tell me what you're doing, because so far nothing has been done. And this ridiculous, in 42 months, Biden presidency tries to make some fentanyl bill that will actually do zero, but there's nothing that's being done. There is a weak bill that was put out, a secondary level of precaution, putting Trump's machines back of entry only, but instead of putting Trump's actual machines that they stuck in a closet when Biden took over,
Exactly.
they're buying new ones, and that's going to do zero, because drug dealers don't use the front door. Drug dealers don't use the front door.
Right.
But give money to the Ukraine. They're doing nothing, and they're not criminalizing the criminals. I mean, let's talk about that.
Mhm.
Let's talk about how Sarah Huckabee Sanders has one of the best, most incredible bills that she signed in that criminalizes the drug dealers, gives people death penalty for killing children, life imprisonment, to kill somebody. That we need stiffer penalties. Instead of giving people penalties like death penalty, they're going to think twice before they sell a child fentanyl.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so we need penalties. We need some governors like Sarah Huckabee Sanders to step up and do something, since the Biden administration refuses.
Well, I think you touched on something. It's something on this show that we repeatedly refrain, and that is follow the money. I mean, this doesn't happen without there being a support of, dare I say, politicians and people whose pockets are being lined with the money that's being generated by the sale of fentanyl. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar business, and people do that which they get rewarded for. And sadly, here in America, most of us think like you do, Ann. I mean, you've learned the hard way, and some of us have had to learn the hard way that there are evil people in our country who do not care about our children, who do not care about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and they just I guess in their own calculus, figure, well, it's just the cost of living. So we lose some young people. It's okay. But meanwhile, they're living in their mansions and living large at the expense of our children who are being poisoned here. This is disgusting.
Disgusting. It's horrible. And if it, it could happen to their children too, by the way. It could happen to any kid. Well, nothing is being done in this country is going down the wrong direction. And, if you're putting food on your table at night, or wondering if you have to wait for the next paycheck to go to the grocery store, stuff in your car, you should not be voting, even considering voting for this. A failure of a poor administration. in the White
as
House.
yeah.
The
Well,
squatters.
as you said at the RNC, you put the onus on the policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and her vice president pick. If they were to get another 4 years, we would get more of the same, if not worse, right?
Yeah. I mean, I fear for that, and I fear for, election integrity because of that. Because, I don't want to get into that, but I think everyone, 100% America knows what happened. And this is unfortunately what happens when you don't have a White House who is elected democratically. Now we see a coronation elected democratically. This is the consequence of stolen elections, and they're doing nothing. I believe they're getting, I believe that they're not going to do anything, and
Well, and we got 30 seconds left. Tell people how they can be in touch and remind them of the organizations that you are working in concert with, educating families and children about fentanyl poisoning.
Somebody you can join. Lost Voices of Fentanyl is an incredible organization that helps families who have lost children to fentanyl death, and it's a support system. I would follow Border 911. It's Derek Mull, Tom Holman, and several other incredible people. And
we've got to leave it there.
Help
man.
millions of
Thank
adult
you.
smokers kick the habit. Here's Jim Carroll, former director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy.
Quitting cold turkey is hard, but products like nicotine vapes are scientifically proven to help. The FDA and researchers at Harvard Medical School agree. It's time for the FDA to authorize more cigarette alternatives and to make sure adult smokers have the facts. By working together, we can save millions of lives across America.
Sponsored by Consumer Action for a Stronger Economy.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, with youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-796-3954. 800-796-3954. That's 800-796-3954.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
Welcome back, America. Bill Martinez here. Great to have you with us, sharing a part of your day. For more information on the show, you can check it out, BillMartinezLive.com. You know, with the new school year about to begin, let's all agree that every child deserves a safe, clean, healthy ride to school, right? Well, joining us today, and he's back with us. It's getting to be an annual event. We always appreciate Tucker Perkins with us, President and CEO of PERC, the Propane Education Research Council. Now, Perkins is here to talk about government plans to modernize the nation's school bus fleet and clean options about, cleaner options like electric and propane. Tucker Perkins, welcome back. Good to have you with us. How are you, sir?
Bill, it's always great to not only hear your voice, but to be visiting with you. It's hard to believe we're talking about back to school already this year.
I know, it's amazing. It's about that time of year when the kids are saying, I'm bored, right?
Or the parents are saying it's time to go back to school.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe not necessarily in that order, but we definitely hear those kind of refrains about this time of year. So, what should we know, Tucker, about how school buses impact our children?
Well, Bill, we want parents to know what I think we've learned over the last couple of years, and that is most children still go to school the way I went to school, in an aging, dirty diesel school bus. And we've all been behind that school bus. We see that cloud of black smoke come from the tailpipe. We now know about that cloud of black smoke, that inside it are harmful pollutants for the earth, harmful pollutants for children. The building blocks cause asthma and bronchitis. And so if we can remove that black cloud of smoke by putting them in a propane school bus, they can arrive to school healthier. They can go to school more days because they're not homesick. The other thing, though, we learn, and I know we've talked about it before, but it's so important to me, is quiet. And I think I have completely understated sometimes the importance of quiet. Teachers tell us that children that come to school now in these propane school buses, they're not only healthier, ready to learn, because they come in calmer. They get to learning faster in the day. And those two things together, cleaner and healthier and quieter, really helps a child get the leg up as they start the school day.
You know, Tucker, I'm glad you brought that to focus, because I think that's one of those things that we overlook. Again, tradition has set the stage and mindset and the paradigm that, buses should smell a certain way. They should sound a certain way. And, this is what we love about technology and how much advancement has come along with the modern buses and the impact, the positive impact it's having for everyone, whether it's the bus driver, the kids themselves, or the teachers in school.
Yeah, I think you just mentioned two things. I think giving a better environment for the bus driver, we don't talk about enough. School systems everywhere are struggling to attract and retain bus drivers. Giving them a quieter bus, a healthier bus, a better smelling bus is so important to attract and recruit and retain drivers. The health impacts on the child are just continue to add up and be amazing to me. And then lastly, we should talk about it. They're saving money. Moving from diesel to propane saves the school system half the operating cost. And I don't care whether you buy football helmets for the football team or repair a roof or put more teachers in the classroom. Those savings are monumental to cash-starved school systems.
Exactly. Because you think about how much savings, it adds up in 10 years. You may look at it in the first year and say, well, that's pretty good. But 10 years down the road, that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, we just had a school system, ironically, talk about, look back for 10 years of using propane school buses, a relatively small system, said they had saved $2 million. They could document $2 million savings. Think about how much that can impact the quality of education for that school system. Exactly. And we have that story told all across the country day after day.
Well, you think about it, Tucker, how many other programs in schools today can come back and say, hey, look, I just saved you $2 million, right?
Yeah, I think one of the struggles I have as we talk about back to school is the migration from diesel to propane is better for the student. It's better for the school system. It's better for the climate. It's better for the community. There's really no downside. And, at least sometimes when I'm listening, I think, gosh, is that person selling snake oil? It's only all good. But in this case, it's tremendously beneficial for everyone to leave diesel and choose propane.
Well, and this is why now's the time. I mean, it's been out there enough. There's enough empirical evidence, Tucker, to back what you're saying. So this should be a no-brainer for these schools to be able to jump on this, because it's not like, they have to pioneer something. It's got a proven track record, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've been doing this for about 12 years, but there are 22,000 buses operating. They move 1.3 million children every day. That's 1,000 school districts, but there are nearly 12,000 school districts. So, it's just, we're trying to speed up this pace. It's time to not be satisfied with status quo, to help people make this shift from an older fuel to a modern fuel.
What's holding things up here, Tucker? Is it the capital investment or what?
I think largely, Bill, it's just about people's resistance to change. Transporting children is so important, and fleet managers are often afraid to make a change. They know what worked for them. But the good news is, as you say, we've done this long enough now, they can look to their peers. And we have a lot of fleets that started with 1 or 2 and now on 100%. We've just celebrated in Florida, big migration there. We're going to be in Philadelphia in a few weeks to celebrate a massive purchase of propane school buses there. It's happening across this country. And I think fleet managers are leading their peers to a new way to get children to school, and that's in a propane-powered school bus.
Well, and that's good news. So let's talk. I mean, we touched a little bit on this, and we've got about 3 minutes left here, Tucker Perkins. So let's talk about, how can using cleaner fuels impact the environment?
Well, let's talk about the environment, because everybody thinks about the climate and we think about greenhouse gases. Certainly using propane reduces carbon into the atmosphere, a major step forward. We've talked a lot about the health benefits, and I think sometimes we understate how important health is as we think about the climate. And then lastly, we're doing it in a way that saves money. So better for the climate, better for our health, and saving money. It's truly win-win-win.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with Tucker Perkins. He's the president and CEO of PERC, Propane Education and Research Council. Tucker, how did you get involved with this organization?
Well, like many others, I followed my father, I think, into what he was doing. I was an engineer undergraduate and had seen him work in the propane industry. He himself was a pioneer in thinking about making engines run on propane. Told him every day that we were doing, 50 years later than he had done it. But I would tell you, Bill, what we're doing today is amazing as we think about making engines so much cleaner, so much more affordable. And really, as the conversation talks about the climate or environmental justice or domestic security, we have a seat at the table as we talk about propane today and renewable propane tomorrow. Fascinating conversation really across the board, and really changes the trajectory of the environment in America.
Well, especially, this must be so gratifying for yourself, because this is, as you say, it's win-win-win. You're contributing, for the health of kids, bus drivers, teachers, all the way around. It's just got to be, extremely gratifying for yourself. So let's talk. We got about a minute left. Talk about the government program to invest in cleaner school buses.
Yeah, the EPA sees value in this transition from diesel to propane. They put a fund together called the Clean School Bus Program. That fund has $2 billion left. So we're encouraging fleets to apply for those funds by choosing propane buses. It reduces the initial cost. Once a school system has purchased a propane bus, they save that operating cost day in, day out. So it's a great way to jumpstart school systems migration from diesel to propane.
Well, as we wrap things up, Tucker Perkins, he's the president and CEO of PERC, Propane Education and Research Council. Remind everybody, Tucker, where they can go for more information and get their school, propane invested.
A website created just for parents, betterourbuses.com. Learn the facts, learn how to engage, and then engage in those conversations, because your child deserves a cleaner, healthier, safer ride to school.
Dr. Perkins, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
My
for being
son
with us.
loves
Take
to
care,
fly
my
kites,
friend.
but my
Love
active
being with you.
psoriatic
Thanks,
arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now for those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-932-1597. 800-932-1597. That's 800-932-1597. Paid for by the Tax Helpline.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hey, we're back with you 14 minutes before the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here. Tim Head's joining us. He's the Faith and Freedom Coalition Executive Director, talking about Kamala Harris's VP pick, probably the most left-wing governor in Minnesota's history, and he's got all the details. Tim, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Bill. And it's plenty to talk about in American politics, huh?
Yeah, without a doubt. But look, we have to keep talking about it, because the thing that amazes me, Tim, is that when you look at the polling, you're wondering, at least I do, I scratch my head and going, wait a minute, how can 40% of the people, see it in the way in which they do, that are supporting all these policies that have wrecked our economy, that are, compromising the health of marriages and families, these institutions that are so vital to the American way of life. And I keep asking people the question, what am I missing? What am I not seeing here? Why is it that you're supporting Joe Biden? And they tell me they're not. So, okay, so who's lying to me? Are the pollsters lying to me, or are they lying to me?
Well, there is a lot going on, and in some ways, we almost live in kind of like two parallel Americas in
Yeah, we
certain
do. Yeah.
regards. There's kind of like major metropolitan cities that are finite geographies, but they have a ton of people, and the cultures and kind of sociologies of those cities and countries are increasingly global and definitely increasingly progressive, or been really progressive for a number of decades. But the ideologies of those coasts and those large cities have become increasingly more separate from the rest of the country, and unfortunately, you're seeing those ideas creep into the Democrat Party, and frankly, have pretty well commandeered the Democrat Party at this point.
Well, Tim, the crazy thing about it is, yeah, here it is. You got all this wackiness going on, the weird stuff that Tim might say, that's happening in these states. And the people are going, hey, I'm out of here. Where's the closest U-Haul? And don't even stand at the exits because you're going to get run over, whether it's California, Minnesota. Look at their population, how it's decreased in New York. I mean, there's a lot of empty buildings in New York. It's just been unheard of. And these blue state governors and blue state legislators cannot seem to look at reality and say, look at, they've disinvited their constituency.
Well, I disinvited is actually a pretty good way to say it, and so we're getting a lot of independents, self-proclaimed independents, ironically from some from the right as well, that are saying their parties, they don't necessarily love their parties anymore, but they still believe. I would say overwhelmingly most people still support. I would consider kind of common sense policy,
Yeah.
but when they're given options, limited options, it looks like the sensibilities have changed.
Right.
A lot of Democrats will kind of hold their nose, if you will, and vote for either Biden, 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, or now Kamala. Doesn't necessarily mean that they believe what Kamala is, everything that she's saying. They just historically have kind of moved in that direction. I think we may see some of that, but my hope is just a kind of on the margins, if you will. Enough of those people just kind of pull the plug and say enough is enough, and vote for more common sense solutions in November.
Well, the onus is really on the consent of the governed. They have to own their own knowledge. Tim, we've been preaching this, is that you cannot rely on the talking heads of the, propagandist media, the biased media. They have for so long gotten away with just telling people how they should think, who they should vote for. And this is all levels of, the mainstream media, the social media oligarchs, all that are controlling the narrative here. I think a year ago I wrote a commentary just saying, who told you to hate Donald Trump? Because there wasn't a real true basis for it other than that there's this animus that has been developed over time. I mean, to such a degree that even Kamala Harris, she doesn't even know how to run a campaign without just saying, we're about beating Trump, which is no different than Letitia James saying, okay, elect me and I'm going to go get Donald Trump. Why do you want to get Donald Trump? Hey, just because you hate him, kind of thing. It's like, what a waste of people's money. And, you don't have better things to do in this elected office that people have entrusted to you, but to go and target a political figure. I mean, this is what today's America has become, Tim.
Well, I like your word choice there. Well, I actually refer to the media as information oligarchs. It's exactly
Yes.
right. You've got a very small number, kind of a cabal, if you will, of about 5 different companies, mega companies, truly transnational companies that are dominating kind of the major kind of traditional media outlets and hence narratives on those. And again, it's they. I would say certainly there are many who subscribe to that kind of, in my mind, are kind of mindless lemmings in that regard. But a
Right.
lot of people are still reluctant, but they want, back to that notion of kind of common sense solutions. A bunch of
Right.
people really just want their groceries to not cost 250% more than they cost 5 years ago,
Mhm.
and they want a school that's going to teach their kids how to read, write, and do math and not either propagandize or brainwash them, 9 months out of the year.
Exactly.
So I think that the more we can offer solutions to that effect, the more people are going to gravitate in this direction.
Well, Tim, as you say, I think common sense solutions are there. They're inarguable. It's just that we've got to realize that we're in an arena that people are playing with us. The globalists, as you say, they're controlling the newsrooms. I mean, it was just like, which was most amazing, the kind of parade, the move on a dime kind of march and synchronization that took place just in the Kamala Harris, election or selection, I should say,
Yeah.
because I mean, here we were, a couple of weeks earlier, they were all, you talk about holding your nose. They despised Kamala Harris. They were just fearful that, oh my God, we got to keep Joe Biden alive if it's with formaldehyde, whatever, keep him going because we can't dare have a Kamala Harris presidency. This would be the worst thing that could ever happen. And then 2 weeks later, she's the best thing since sliced toast. And it was amazing that almost on an instant, I mean, including Chuck Schumer, who had a thrill up his leg and everything else, oh excited. I mean, he was just about Kamala Harris and all this stuff. And it's like, wow, you guys, I mean, you must think the American people are just absolutely stupid.
So imagine, a lot of these commentators, for in the months of May and June, just ardently, just vehemently arguing that, I just sat with President Biden just, 10 days ago, and he's the most rigorous. He was asking pointed questions.
Right.
He was so
Exactly.
animated and surgical in his inquiries of our, our conversation and subject matter. And then 3 weeks later, I'm very concerned about his mental acuity and fitness to hold office. And I think that we owe it to the people to have a cogent leader in the White House. And you're like, at a certain point, people are going to kind of time lapse these things together, and enough people are going to figure out just the lunacy of a lot of the media coverage, which
Right.
really functionally is the Democrat party political apparatus for all intents and purposes.
The body politic is suffering from whiplash, Tim. I mean, to your point, we're being told he's the sharpest tool in in the toolbox and all this great stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, anybody with any kind of minimal amount of observation could see that Joe Biden was compromised 4 years ago. And this is why it was such a surprise that he would be elected. And then here we are, but for that debate. And the thing is that what a setup. What a setup. They threw him under the bus and don't think for a second that this wasn't planned.
It was categorically planned. Frankly, that was late April when the quote unquote challenge was issued by the Biden campaign, and really from the moment that challenge was issued, and Trump accepted it within like 20 minutes or something.
Yes, right. Yeah, it was quick. Yeah.
I was like, they're moving in this direction because he's going to underperform. He underperformed even more than I thought he would, frankly.
Yeah. Right.
And you could see the gears kind of working already. So I do think it's important, for platforms like yours and others like yours to educate the people on really who Tim Walz is, which is a great illustration or demonstration of really who Kamala Harris is, and these are not kind of common sense problem solving people. These are ideologues that are going to try to position themselves as tenable and kind of palatable to normal Americans, so they can get in power, so they can effectuate their ideology.
Jim, it's disturbing because here you got a vice president pick, the governor of Minnesota, who was raised Catholic. He's a practicing Lutheran, and you think, okay, his sensitivity for things of faith, you would suspect would be pro-faith, but he's been anti-faith, hasn't he?
Well, I think the most pronounced anti-faith, truly anti-faith, I think you have some ideological things, but I would argue the most anti-faith or demonstration of that is a policy that he and the Minnesota legislature put in place a couple of years ago, that any parochial schools, kind of private faith-based school in Minnesota that offers free online classes that you can get, like college, like dual credit kinds of classes.
Right.
If that school has students sign a statement of faith, the school and the students are not eligible to receive college credit. I mean, that's just kind of arbitrary. It's completely capricious. They could be taking a math class, but the fact that they go to a private, faith-based school and sign a faith statement, for God's, for God's sake, they no longer are eligible for dual credit college enrollment.
And of course, the other thing too, abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy, right?
That's right. That's right. Pretty radical on abortion, very radical on transgender, ideology, criminalized therapy for kids who for minors that are seeking treatment, seeking psychological treatment for same-sex attraction. So just really radical stuff going on.
Exactly. Well, Tim Head, thank you for coming on. Tim is Faith and Freedom Coalition Executive Director. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you.
Founded in 2004, BBS Radio TV stands as a trailblazer in remotely engineered live radio broadcasts over the internet. We ignited the new media revolution, offering a powerful platform for vital voices and alternative perspectives that mainstream media often silences. Our live broadcasts stream on over 200 of the world's largest internet broadcast stations, with on-demand syndication across all major social networks. Visionary entrepreneurs Douglas and Donald Newsom have crafted over 100,000 radio and web TV episodes for more than 1,000 satisfied clients. Experience the pinnacle of web radio and TV engineering. Compare our unbeatable prices, exceptional services, and comprehensive offerings with any other professional provider, and you'll see why we're unparalleled in the industry. Call us at 888-710-8061.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning-fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
BBS Radio TV. If it's not mainstream, it's on BBS Radio TV. A place for answers.